Hello men, welcome to my quick aggressive expansion guide. I'm going to go over the aggressive expansion formula, what affects it, and then at the end I'll give you a visualization of how that affects specifically the Ottomans as an example. Right, here's a quick explanation of aggressive expansion. We have a formula up here. You can pause the video and take a look at it if you'd like. So the things that impact aggressive expansion that you take, first of all, is going to be development right here. So development is capped at 30 for a province. However, the subjugation is not capped. So let's say you were fighting a one province minor. It had a 35 dev province. If you conquered it directly and cored it yourself, you'd take 30 development worth of aggressive expansion. However, if you instead vassalize them, you would take the full 35 aggressive expansion for that province. Base development, aggressive expansion. And then you have a peace term modifier. What this is when you peace out, you sue for peace, and you got a bunch of options, right? You can demand province, force vassal, force a PU. Those have different modifiers associated with them. So if you demand province, it's 75%. If you force vassalize, it's 50%. If you force a PU, it's 10%. Next, we have AE impact right here. So AE impact, this is the what you see in game, the bonus from espionage ideas, what you get from Courier Controller, what you get from Prestige. It'll typically be like a negative modifier, and so that's the next one that impacts it. Then it's administrative efficiency. This is a direct one-to-one conversion. If you have 10% admin efficiency, then you get 10% less aggressive expansion. Next, you have a CB modifier right here. So this is your Casus Belli, what you declare with. If you declare with Deus Vult, for example, you get 75%. Nationalism is 50%. Reconquest is 25%. That's where it applies right there. And then you have a non-co-belligerent modifier. If you take land or vassalize someone who's not co-belligerated, then it's a flat plus 50% modifier on the base aggressive expansion. Then you take that number right there, the base aggressive expansion number, and you plug it into the total aggressive expansion equation, which is right here. So base aggressive expansion multiplied by a religion modifier. So with the religion modifier, the loser of the war, if how do I explain this properly? If you so same religion plus 50%, same group, different religion. Okay, so we take base aggressive expansion, we multiply it by the next modifiers. So with the religion modifier, if the loser of the war, if countries around it are the same religion, it's a plus 50% modifier. If they are the same religious group but a different religion, it's plus 0%. And if they are a different religious group, it's minus 50%. Then you have an infidel penalty, a heathen penalty. If you are a heathen to the loser, all the loser's religion, not their religious group, but their religion, gain plus 50%. And this applies mainly to third parties. The next modifier is culture, and it's province specific, so it affects nations with the primary culture of that province. The same culture is plus 50%, the same culture group is plus 25%, and a different group is plus 0%. Then you have an HRE modifier. It's also province specific. If you take a province, then and it's in the HRE, then all princes have a plus 50% modifier attached to them. Next, you have a spy network modifier. One spy network is 0.1% reduction in AE up to 10% on the target country. And then you have, if they're an ally to you, it's 67%. It's 2/3 AE. If they are a subject of yours, it's 10%. And then there's a hidden modifier that's also distance. It used to be regions, but then they changed it. Now it's distance. Based on colonial range, you can see it. But it caps at 400, so the further away countries are, the less AE they'll take. However, a country that's 401 distance away will take the same AE as a country that's like 800 distance away. Finally, we have coalitions. When do coalitions fire? They fire when there are 4 nations that are negative 50 AE, below 0 opinion, no truces. Then they will start and join a coalition. They will leave the coalition if they have less than negative 50 AE and they have positive 50 opinion. Then they'll leave the coalition. And what determines if they will fire the coalition and declare war on you are things like relative alliance strength. So it's your force limit, your manpower, if you're in wars already, your war exhaustion, how much debt you have. This will affect if a coalition will fire on you or not. So looking at the Ottoman starting position in the game, we start in the middle of the map and we have a lot of different expansion routes. Okay, we could go deep into Europe, we could go up through the Poles, we can go into the Tartars, we can go directly east through Persia, south into Egypt and Africa, or we can go more westward into Tunis and Italy. Now, when we look at the religion map mode, right, we are Sunni. We start as Sunni, which means we are heathens to the Catholics, the Orthodox. Now, we are heretics to the Shia and the Ibadi, and Sunni is the same religion as us. So when we expand into Orthodox or Catholic lands, we're going to get the infidel penalty, and we have to keep that in mind. If we look at the Orthodox nations, there's very few Orthodox nations at the start of the game, and they're all right around us. And so eliminating them as a group is very easy to do. And all you'll be left with is probably Muscovy or Russia. If we look at culture, so we are in the Levantine culture group, that is our culture. We can go into the Iranian group. We can go into the Caucasus. We can go into the Italians, the Greeks, the Byzantines, I should say, the South Slavic, Carpathian, East Slavic, and Tatars. So these are our culture groups that are directly around us. So we don't want to gain too much aggressive expansion in one culture group at a time. If we look at the start of the game, the starting moves, we take a claim on Constantinople and we attack them. And if you notice, Byzantine is a Greek cultured nation, and the only other Greek cultured nations are Athens, which is right next to it, Epirus, which you will take also at the start of the game. Then you have right here, we have Rhodes, the Knights, we have Cyprus, we have Trebizond, and we have Theodoro. And these two belong to Genoa. And their primary culture group is not Greek. So when we take Greece, when we take Byzantium, we full annex them, we take Epirus, we full annex them, we're not taking the culture, negative culture modifier against any of the other Europeans. Also, they're Orthodox, so we also don't get the modifier against other Catholics. We just get the regular infidel modifier. So that's our general starting position. You can go into the Orthodox full annex or vassalize Wallachia and Serbia, and it'll be slightly less aggressive expansion against the other Europeans. If you look at the culture group Serbia, they have a small culture group, and with Wallachia, their culture group is Moldavia and Hungary. However, at the start of the game, frequently Hungary gets PU'd by Austria, and Moldavia gets marched under either Hungary or Poland. And so there will be no other culture groups, independent nations in this culture group to gain additional AE against when you full conquer Wallachia. Same goes for if you take Moldavia in a peace deal with the transfer subject at half cost in the Age of Discovery. If you take Moldavia from them, it's a 33% peace modifier. And then when you look at the culture, again, there will likely be no independent nations that can take extra AE against them. And they are an Orthodox nation, of course. And there won't be a lot at the start of the game. Again, diplo-vassalizing, things like Trebizond and Belkadir at the start of the game is a good idea, because diplo-vassalizing doesn't gain aggressive expansion. If you force vassalize, it gains aggressive expansion, not if you diplo-vassalize them. And so really what you want to do as Ottomans is called a pendulum strategy. So you want to go back and forth. You want to move your armies back and forth across your empire and expand in different directions, while the AE is reduced on the other side of the empire over time. And again, that is done by improved relations. Right here, this modifier here. Base aggressive expansion decay is 2 per year, and this is a flat modifier on it. So, right now we have 11.9%. So we're going to get 11.9% more AE reduced every year on that January 1st tick.